Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show, the one and only show that brings you ordinary people sharing extraordinary insights. Well, maybe. Here is your host, Chew Effin Lee.
Hey, what's up, people? It's Chew. Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show. What's going on with you guys this week? For me, I'm going to go hunting with my father and some of my cousins. I haven't gone outdoors like this for maybe over 10 years now. I'm not going to actually go hunt, but I guess I'm going to end up being more of a cook and a person to watch their cars and the fire pit. But more importantly, I'm going because my son Adam, he really wants to go. Last year he went with his grandparents and he had a awesome time, and he's obsessed with hunting. Yes, he does shoot a small rifle, but yeah, this guy, he watches hunting videos on YouTube all the time, and especially during the fall season, he knows that it's hunting season. He gets very excited about it, and he's my responsibility, so I'm going to go down there and hang out with him as much as I can. I told him that if he goes with me down there, or if I go with him, he's not going to go into the woods. He's just going to be my cook assistant. And, of course, he wasn't happy with that, so we'll see how it turns out. I'm sure his grandparents will take very good care of him when he steps into the woods with them to go squirrel and deer hunting. But for me, I'm going to stay behind and just check out the scenery, I guess, and cook for those folks. We'll see how it turns out. I kind of dread this whole trip, to be honest with you, because I'm going to be bored as hell. When everybody's out into the woods and I'm just by myself at the fire pit, maybe I'll just use that time to meditate. I don't know. But I think I've already shared with some of you guys. Oh, excuse me. I think I've shared with some of you guys about my hunting experience, which freaked me out and I guess traumatized me too. That's why I haven't gone into the woods. But, when I go camping, outdoor camping in the primitive style, yeah, we're still in tents and we're in the woods, but I just don't feel right. There's just so many spirits out there that's just looking at us, and so that's why I don't like to go out there. So that's my weekend. I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend as well. And for those of you that are going hunting, be safe and good luck. All right, on to today's topic. I wanted to talk about being open-minded and faith, or being open-minded versus having faith. Now, having faith, to my understanding and my belief, is having that strong foundation of your spiritual connection. And to put it, I guess, in easier language for you guys, is this. For example, I believe in the Trinity, which is God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. That's my foundation. So when I'm being open-minded about other things, other teachings, doesn't necessarily mean that I am betraying my faith. Not at all. I want to learn how other people live their life according to the teachings they grew up with. And if it resonates with me, then I might adapt it to how I live my life. But at the end of the day, I still go home to God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit through prayer. Now, I've heard some people say that if you're being too open-minded about another religion, you are betraying your faith. That just doesn't make any sense to me, unless you're really doing that, unless you're kind of hopping around from faith to faith. And some people can also argue that that's not really, there's really nothing wrong with that either. And for me, to some degree, I can understand that there is nothing wrong with that. But I think the folks who will have a lot of issue with it are those extremists, those like strong conservatives in their faith. I mean, I've seen it come from the shaman folks too. Again, I'm generalizing here, so don't you all start uh, getting mad at me, okay? I've seen some shaman folks who bash other religions and say that if you don't stick to your culture or your spirituality, then the shaman way, then you are going to be damned. And I have a hard time accepting that. I look at it like this: no matter what you call your creator, your God, I mean, there's just way too many groups of people out there on this planet. And maybe you've heard this argument before, but I'll just throw it out there. Those folks who strongly believe in the conservative teachings of Christianity, that you cannot believe in anything else but God, and you should not delve into any other practices other than Christianity, or else you're going to go to hell. Well, what about those folks that didn't have the opportunity to learn about that religion or learn about God and Jesus? Folks that live in deep in the jungles, in the indigenous people. How fair would that be to those folks? I think God has a way of connecting all of us to one common goal and one ultimate goal, which is to heal each other physically, spiritually, mentally. It doesn't matter how you do it, but that's the ultimate goal. And I think egos get in the way too. And it causes people to bash other people and not accept and not be open-minded. Just because somebody heals a person a different way, how does that make it right or wrong? I mean, the ultimate goal was accomplished, which was to heal that person. And there shouldn't be any quarrels about it, right? But we have people who still, have strong feelings about doing it their way. And again, it could be... Hang on a second, let me sign back in. I got logged out. Okay. So as I was saying, there's really no right or wrong way of healing people. Just because somebody does it different from you, it should be okay. And I hope people are open-minded enough to say, as long as it worked. I think the egos come into play when people start asking questions about, if that other person healed the seeker and not me, that means I'm not as good or as strong as the other person. So how do I make myself, or how do I redeem myself to people? And the most common way is to find out a flaw about the person, about the healer. And then that leads to drama, right? So when you have a strong faith and you want to be open-minded about other practices, religions, teachings, it's not, by no means does it mean that you are betraying your creator or your sources. Okay? Some of you might have a hard time agreeing with me, which is fine. I don't really care. But just think about how being open-minded is right or wrong. I think it's what you do with the information that determines where you're going to land, as far as which side you're going to pick. Is it right or is it wrong to be open-minded? And that truth will be yours and yours only. Okay? All right, so I wanted to share a quick story about being open-minded. It was many, many years ago. One of my uncles told me a story. He said, there was a shaman somewhere. I think maybe in Wisconsin or California. I can't remember. But anyway, there were these two. There's this couple, a white couple. They, oh, excuse me. I just had a big lunch, so I'm kind of burping and all that stuff. So I apologize for that. But there was this couple. They were having a hard time, conceiving a child. And so they tried all the Western medicine. They went to see other, healers, but nothing seemed to help. So they heard of this Hmong shaman in their town, and they went to, discuss their issue with the shaman, and the shaman said, "I will help you." And so the shaman did his ritual, and soon after they were able to have a baby. And so this shaman guy claims, and I think rightfully so, that he has two spiritual, or not two, but he has a spiritual child. And that child was, born into this world through the white folks. And the baby didn't come out Hmong. I can't confirm or deny that, but likely the baby came out to be white, okay? But, I wanted to share that story. I mean, to me, it's an amazing story because, you think about that white couple, very unlikely that they know much about shamanism, or at least the way Hmong folks practice it. They could be atheists, they could be whatever, but the result was they sought out a shaman. The shaman did their thing, did his thing, and boom, they have a child. So does that, I don't know if they've converted into shamanism. I highly doubt it, but the thing is, it's faith, right? I think the couple, I would imagine, had faith that the shaman would be able to help them. The shaman had absolute faith that he can help them, and the results is what it is. A child is born into this world. So when you are open-minded to other teachings, it'll only expand your knowledge in your spiritual journey. Okay? It's not going to convert you necessarily, but it's going to challenge your teachings, what you've learned, what you grew up with, and also challenge what you know day to day. But there's nothing wrong with being challenged neither. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Being open-minded versus having faith in your creator. And the group, our Facebook group, I think we have a lot of open-minded people. I think a lot of you are shy out there. You listen to my show or you read the posts, and you might have a lot of things you want to say, but too shy to share, which is fine. But I appreciate all of you being a member of the group and listening to my shows secretly. This coming Monday, I might have a guest on. Excuse me. I might have a guest on. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm sure you guys will enjoy this guest as well. Alright, folks, have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Take it easy.